these are the ways of being on our campus. The first is that we're always looking for the simple way to amplify our business, which includes one of the other points on this page, which is little hinges, swinging doors. Many of you are trying to open these big doors, but you're also not seeing that there's tiny hinges that you could be doing that actually will open them faster for you. And a lot of times you need an outside perspective to help you see that, because you're like this, and it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day of our business. And I know, because I have the same support in my life, right? The other thing is to be fluid and flexible. We have a bamboo mentality on this campus. So bamboo is the strongest material, building material in the world. It's why Asia been like a leader in building architecture, right? For so long. They build their skyscrapers based on bamboo, and then they put cement on it so that they can, it's really cool. It's like whatever, engineering, right? Point is that that's how you want your business to be. You want it to be like bamboo, right? Strong, but flexible, because the world is changing. Things that you learned 5 years ago and you might be doubting yourself about, meaning like, because you didn't finish a course, or like you didn't implement that strategy that you thought you were going to do 5 years ago, it doesn't matter, because it's dead. That's what you need to hear. Marketing moves fast. And I'm not going to hold back and say that that's not true. It's true. There are fundamentals to marketing, but really the fundamentals to marketing are messaging. That's the truth. Your messaging is what keeps you consistent and trusted. But there's a lot of different ways you can market yourself. And what you've been taught 5 years ago, don't beat yourself up now if you didn't do it or you didn't do it well, because it doesn't matter. That's the good news. Okay. Next thing is that we focus on what we call the win-win, which is what is now and what is next. A lot of times people are looking into the far off future, and strategic planning is about planning for the future. But strategic planning is a quarterly view. It's not a 5 years from now, because guess what? If you hit your goals every quarter, what's going to happen? It's going to reset what you thought your goals were. It's not going to be the same goal 5 years from now. It probably will be something better if you stay consistent with it. And in between, you're gonna encounter obstacles, right? That's life. Business is part of your life. And, I like to think of like when I'm in a good season of harvest, right? When, all like I own a vineyard, so like when the grapes are like looking really abundant and I'm getting a big harvest, that's a good season. But along the way, in fact, right now, if you were at my house, you would detect a really stinky smell. I'm not even joking, because they came and mulched and manured my vineyard last week. And I literally, when I walk outside, it's just gross. Okay. And also my leaves, my vines are threadbare because it's fall moving into winter. And so there's no harvest right now. It requires shit to lay on the ground so that it can grow again, right? Now I'm from Hawaii and I grew up on a plantation. So that smell is actually quite familiar to my husband and I, but I'm kind of embarrassed when people come over. I'm just saying. But that's my point, is like, you're going to have these seasons of seeding, of watering, of fertilizing, and then of harvesting, right? And so strategic planning helps us predict when those things will happen so that we have more comfort, because we need comfort because we're human beings. Okay. Next thing is context before content. I think that, content is like the world, right? I was watching, if you haven't watched the documentary on Netflix on Amazon Prime, which I thought was pretty funny because Amazon Prime has the Netflix documentary. Okay. Just weird. Okay. So anyway, I'm watching it, and basically Netflix figured out we need to be a content machine. And they figured that out years before social media was wild. Okay. And that's an example of foresight on Reed's part. Reed he was the founder of Netflix, and he's crazy, but most founders are, like the guy who's running Twitter right now. So all of the things that are taught by you online, offline. Content, they say, is king, right? But I think context is God, okay? Because if you don't understand why it is happening or why you need to do this thing, then it's a waste of your time, because there's no such thing as a pure prescription for success. There is absolutely no such thing. I don't even have it for you. I don't have a pure prescription for your success, but there are certain milestones, there are certain flags you can be looking for along the way, and creating some structure around how you do that. I already said repetition is the mother of mastery, because every time you say something, your audience probably has to hear it again. And when they hear it again, they'll hear it a different way, even though you said the exact same thing. Most people give up on their content because they're like, I already said that. Well, people are looking for us all the time. They just don't know we exist. And so repetition is not just the mother of mastery for you here sitting in this room, but it's for your audience as well. And finally, the right heart thing is the shortcut. If there is a shortcut, it's facing the thing that you've been avoiding. It's facing the thing that if you just got it done, the amount of flow and ease that would come rushing towards you and you could bathe and bask in, right, would be there. But a lot of times we want to press the easy button, right? And if you want it to be easy, then you're not doing enough. That's the part. No one chooses entrepreneurship for it to be easy. They choose it for freedom, autonomy, impact, and money, right? And so, but what we've learned, because I've been an entrepreneur for now 15 years, is that I've learned that when I face the things that I'm avoiding, like I hate taxes. I'm just saying it out loud. I hate them. Hate them, hate them. Every year I tell myself I'm not going to wait till the last minute. And it's still something, it's not fixed for me. Let's just put it that way. It's not fixed. So I'm not infallible is my point, right? Understand that no one you admire, even if they made tons of money or if they're making all this impact, is not avoiding the shit they're supposed to be looking at, okay? But because I have guardrails in place, AKA the systems, the structure, the people in place, and I've invested in that, my own money, right, Sarah? My own money, my own time, my own energy, right? To help other people do things that I don't like doing. It doesn't happen overnight. Sarah knows there's a lot of things I don't like doing. And you know what? She doesn't like a lot of the things that I like doing.
Yeah, no.
Right? She actually hates the stuff I like doing.
No.
We're talking about the business side. We like leisure stuff that are the same.
Yeah,
we like
100%.
to eat, we like to travel. We like going shopping.
Yes.
But we like wine,
Yes.
but when it comes to business, she and I are polar opposites.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, is like, you need to be looking for your polar opposites and learning how to communicate what you want. So one of the ways of being is sometimes, the right hard thing is that you're not communicating what you need. And you're like, but I don't even know what I need. You need to be communicating that. But your ego's too big, right? To say, I don't even know what question to ask. Well, the only way you're going to find out is allow yourself to be vulnerable and allow yourself to be wrong. Ooh, I hate being wrong. I absolutely hate being wrong. But being wrong is the path to being right. Right? And so everything we learned growing up is upside down when you're an entrepreneur, and we hold each other accountable in our company to remember that. Okay? So with all that said, our company, we operate from the why, not the how. The how is actually quite easy, because typically the how is something that you're not qualified to do. I need you to hear that again. You have to get better, because everyone in here is a CEO, right? Everyone here is running a business. And if that's the case, then why are you trying to figure out how to do things? You need to find better qualified people, systems, and processes to handle the how. But you're got to work on your mouth to communicate. What do I want? What is the result that I want? And guess what? Strategic planning has written evidence of what you want that you can show to other people that you want to help you who are more qualified than you on the how, so that you can work together to get what you want. And so today, what we're going to focus on is like, what are those documents? What are those pieces of paper that express the why, so that you can hire the right how? How many of you ever hired someone and it didn't work out? Just tell me in the chat. Me and Sarah are going to raise our hands too.
We raise both hands.
Both hands? Shall we show our feet? Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, because it didn't work out, that's another little trigger or traumatic event that you're using and holding on to as evidence that either people suck, which by the way, some do, okay, or that you're not qualified or able to communicate or lead. And what I'm saying is, don't let that be the way, because if that's true, we'd give up on all our kids. Am I right? Any of you parents here, we would have given up on our kids if that was true. So your business is like your kid. You're going to give up on your kid just because they don't listen to you or they're doing it wrong, right? Well, I hope the people here aren't like that. And if you are, I'm trying not to judge you, but I am, okay. So, you know what I mean? Like, this is the thing. All right. Now with all that, let's jump into the brand predictions. Okay. Okay. I don't know why, but I can't read my chat. So I'm just going to not read it. But if anything juicy comes up, Sarah, you can tell me. Okay.
I will. Also, the amount of people who said many, many times they've hired and it hasn't worked out. We are not alone, Jen Kim.
Thank God. Right. And, by the way, too, one other thing that I hope that makes you feel better is that as entrepreneurs, the talent pool is, we're working with the best of the worst. I need you to hear that. The best of the worst. So if that's true, because most people like comfort. When we get into the roles and we talk about the 3 roles you need in your company, in order to attract top talent, like I feel very lucky. I have top talent on my team, and that was nurtured as well. It wasn't just like, hey, I come in and I'm a genius. All of us, like, it's not like, oh, we're all geniuses at our role. We had to learn how to deal with each other's personality traits, focus on our own strengths in terms of business acumen, right? And then also learn on our own. And I think that but now here's the good news. Most of the layoffs that you're seeing, they're mainly in the tech world though. And 2 million women left the workforce during the pandemic, right? The truth is that there is talent out there, but you're not able to communicate the value of working inside of your business with them. How can you get top talent to work with you, to partner with you, right? It's not easy, but the other thing is because in fact, when I said you're working with the best of the worst, is because you just hire whoever says they can do it. And you don't go through the discipline and the rigor it takes to decide whether that person should be in your business or not, even if they're a contractor. That's on us, right? When we make those kind of decisions, because you're going to walk away from here, this is my point, with a strategic plan, at least a straw man strategic plan, right? And you're going to go, okay, Jen and Sarah said, go hire a virtual assistant that can focus on this, right? And the truth is that you're going to have to spend more time with them than you think. And not necessarily what they're good at. Like, you don't tell them how to do whatever, like setting up a funnel in ClickFunnels or Entreport or whatever. But what you will say is that, can you show me how what you're building can get us this result? Instead of you telling them what they're good at, right? So I'm hoping that will help you as you move into 2023. So one thing that will never change between now and I guess the rest of the 2000s, all of you who are, my son always refers to the 19, he's like, oh, was that in the 1900s? And I'm like, that's rude. If I say something like,
Oh my God, I can't even.
and
I can totally see you saying that.
Sarah knows my son, and he's like, so mom, was that like the 1900s when you did that? And I'm like, you're so rude. Okay. And then we were talking about what's our favorite movie from the 80s the other night. And I said, oh, Ferris Bueller for sure for me. Right. And I like a lot of them, but Ferris Bueller for me. And my husband was like, I don't even remember what he said. And then my daughter said Breakfast Club. And then my other daughter said St. Elmo's Fire. And then Noah goes, Stranger Things. And I said, Stranger Things is not an 80s movie. And he said, yeah, but they're
I'm
in
dying.
they're in the 1900s, right? And I go, okay, whatever. Again, children, right? Point is that there are three things that you can't avoid as a business period. Doesn't matter if it's online or offline. And that is my friend Jim Quick, who's a brain coach. He says I borrowed this from him. There's 3 A's: automation, right? Artificial intelligence, and Asians. Oh. And I can say that because I'm Asian. So don't be trying to say like, ooh, she's like provocative. Sarah and I are Asian. And the truth is that people like to work with us because we're hardworking. Everything you know about an Asian stereotypically is kind of true. We're good at math. We understand money, and we keep to ourselves, okay, so that we can make it. That's the truth. But we can't fight that those 3 forces are part of where the world's going, right? And a lot of times we're questioning, where do we belong? Where do humans belong? Where does my business belong? If artificial intelligence can now write copy for sales pages, or companies are automating all of their systems behind the scenes, how can I compete with that, right? And the truth is, you don't have to compete with them because those are systems. Those are machines. You're not a machine. You're a messenger. Okay. And to program machines, right, takes people. That's the truth, right? So we can't be replaced by that as leaders. But what we have to get good at, excellent at, master is our craft, our willingness to be consistent, and how we communicate. When we do that, we will lead, right? And we won't be martyred towards what's happening anywhere in the industry, okay? 2023 theme word for me is certainty. And how many of you guys have been hearing about the recession? If you haven't heard about it, you're under a rock. Y'all, we are in a recession, just FYI. They're just not saying it because the midterms were, recently. Like, what you need to understand about the world is media and politics run how we believe things are going to happen. And as an entrepreneur, don't get me wrong, because I'm justice is one of my highest values. Even my cup, my Patronus is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I'm an entrepreneur, right? And as an entrepreneur, what I know is certainty is not a value of ours. That's scary, right? But if you're really an entrepreneur, certainty is not a value of ours. We wish it was. We want to be like other people. And if you think, oh gosh, wait a minute, certainty is a value of mine, great. But if you're going to focus on that, then be focused on what you're going to do, right? But here's my point, the rest of the world who's not an entrepreneur that's looking for you, they want certainty. So you have to be communicating that. Does that make sense? You have to be communicating that you can be bet on, that they would take their hard-earned money that is getting eroded by inflation, right? That they would spend that money on you. So it's a different way to think. It's not just, hey, what funnel do I put up so people know me? It's that, how can I be more trustworthy? How can people see me as somebody to choose? The greatest companies that are thriving today were led by people who in the 2008 recession decided to play offense instead of defense. Okay. So there is a $1 trillion wealth transfer happening right now. $1 trillion wealth transfer happening from the baby boomers to Gen X and Gen Y and Gen Z. 1 trillion. Okay. You don't need 1 trillion to be happy. Am I right? You need 1% of that, maybe 0.5% of that, right? But you have to understand that in a market, we're going to downturn. Anytime you have a downturn or an upturn, marketing is required. And that's the point. Letting people know how you can help them is required. There's going to be a lot of fallout. And I'm sad to say, and I say this with all love and care, I mean it. Some of you will continue your business in 2023. And I want to encourage you to know that whether you choose to or not, at least you know why. Okay? That's what's most important. Does this mean by going on offense, you have to hustle more? I don't think you have to hustle more. I think you have to be committed, right? Because guess what? Your competitors are going to be committed, trust it, and believe it. They're not going to go anywhere. And if you don't believe in competition, that's fine, because I don't really believe in competition. I believe that each one of us has our own unique message and it's our unique message that sells our products, right? Other people have our products, other people have our services, but they don't have our unique message. Now, but at the same time, if those people who are going to stay in it, then you got to stay in it too if you want to compete and win, right? And I think a lot of times, frankly, especially with women, I don't know how many women are in with us today, probably majority, right? Please don't let this idea of not being feminine get in the way of you being a winner. Okay? Being a winner is not masculine or feminine. It's genderless. Okay? And a lot of times we associate winning and athleticism and effort as masculine. And I don't believe that at all. I think it's hurting women to think that being on the offense is masculine, right? We know, based on statistics, that if more women were in power, if more women had money, if more women were rich and recognized, that great things would happen. There's proof out there. And so for me, that's the most feminine you can be, is to be on the offense, to go get it. Okay. Now, when we talk about online industry growth, there's a couple things. Number one, how many of you are, I'd say, considered experts or specialists? Like you have a specialty business, meaning like you are a coach, consultant, advisor, you own a brick and mortar, maybe you're an attorney, you're an accountant. And then at the same time, I'd like to know how many of you are not that, like you're selling products only, like you're selling things that you can buy at the store or on Amazon. I'd love to see how many we have. And I don't know why I can't see.
A lot of service-based businesses. 2 people with products. Mostly services.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So services wise, Coaching right now is a $2.85 billion industry, and coaching includes advising and consulting. This is a 21% increase since 2015. So, and it's only growing. And, I want you to hear me if you're a coach. I really think that people forget that coaching has been around for hella long. I had an executive coach in the 90s, in the 1900s, and executive coaches are behind some of the greatest minds in the world. There's a book out there called $1 Trillion Coach on the guy who was Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg's executive coach. If you ever want to read it, it's a good read. It was written actually by the founders of Google because he was their executive coach too, because he's already passed on. But the point is like executive coaching and coaching other people has been around for a long time. I mean, I used to be in a gym in the early 90s and I had a fitness coach at the gym, right? It's just that it looks like it's just like this sexy new industry. And it's not. It's just an industry. So don't get hyper around the fact that you're a coach. You're like, oh, there's too many coaches around me. Get better at messaging yourself and getting clear on your goals. The next is that the motivational speaking industry is worth almost $2 billion and will be growing to $2.3 billion in 2025. E-learning, so courses, mobile education, will grow to $320 billion. That's a lot, right? And here's the other thing. The course industry also is being like the big universities are figuring out like, oh, I should offer my courses. So now you can get like a certification at Harvard and Yale. And once those guys come in, because they're being threatened, because a lot of people are saying you don't need an education anymore, be aware. These are the things that you need to be looking at. The events industry is going to grow by 153 billion by 2028. And then e-commerce sales, if you sell products, in 2021, it was at 870 billion. Not surprising that it had a huge uptick because of the pandemic, because people could only buy things online. But the industry has not necessarily slowed down because that we're post-pandemic, kind of, right? Kind of. They say that, like, look at 2021 versus 2019, 50.5% increase. Now, again, that's a lot to do with the pandemic. But point is that buying products is not going to go away. Jeff Bezos certainly is not going to go away. Amazon is a beast. And how many of you ever sold on Amazon? How many of you buy from Amazon? Right? I wish I didn't, but they make it so damn easy. And that's the thing. You make it hard for people to pay you. Amazon figured that out early. I'm not going to make it hard. Do you know that they have a patent on the one-click upsell? Do you know that? That the one-click upsell was the game changer for Amazon. It's what turned Amazon into a multi-million-dollar company to a unicorn. Did you know that? There was an engineer on Jeff Bezos's team, and Jeff Bezos, with his big, ugly ego, was like, that's a dumb idea. I don't want to invest millions of dollars into this one-click upsell thing. It's never going to work. People aren't going to trust it, right? Whatever. So the guy goes, fine, if you don't implement this at Amazon, I'm going to quit and I'm going to patent it myself and I'm going to sell it to Yahoo or another competitor. He was like, I'm telling you, this thing's going to work. So because Bezos didn't want that guy to leave, he said, fine, I'll give you $25 million and you can implement it. And it's why Jeff Bezos is one of the richest people in the world, because this engineer, a person, said, this is how humans behave. They want it to be easy, right? It's crazy. Now, what is a through line for 2023 is belief and trust. Not just the belief and trust of your audience, but your belief and trust of your own business. You have to believe in your own business for it to succeed. You have to believe in yourself. I was on a coaching call yesterday and I had a heated discussion with our clients because I love them. For those of you who've been clients of ours, you know that Jen don't lie, okay? Hashtag Jen don't lie, because you deserve the truth. I'm never going to tell you something that will make you buy something from me. That's a lie. So anyway, we were talking about how when you're first starting out and scaling your business, that you have to get people to try the product, the service, right? You have to get them to try it. And that the currency you receive from that is what? A testimonial. But this is an example of context over content. So great, I got the testimonial, but I still can't sell my thing, right? And I'm like, did you ask the person if they wanted to continue working with you? And they were like, no, because I was just doing my beta. What? That's the purpose of a beta, is to prove that your shit is the bomb.com so that they'll buy it. They'll continue with you. But because we become so segmented around like, I got to do this part, then I got to do this part, then I got to do this part. That's you questioning common sense. That's common sense says, oh, if people are getting breakthroughs and results from my framework or my product or my service, I should ask them to stay on and give me money, right? But it's so crazy to me. And I'll like literally want to go through the Zoom and I just want to shake you. Like, what do you mean? You're making it hard because you actually don't believe in yourself. That's the problem. It has nothing to do with your product, or maybe it does. Maybe you have to be in the craft a little bit longer and help more people get breakthroughs. But you don't have the patience for that. Because one thing I can't stand is when people like learn from someone and then they're like, oh, I can teach that now. No, you can't. You're not a master at it, right? Teach what you know and you'll get more clients. It's common sense, right? And then ask them for money if you have knowledge around something, right? Anyway, so be careful as a business owner not to behave like a consumer. I'm going to say that again. Be careful going into 2023, behaving like a consumer because you're caught up in all the consumerism, which by the way, is normal. You're running a household, you're buying things, right? You're, but when you treat your business like a consumer, you act like them, you're not going to come off confident. You're going to be focused on the wrong things. And you're going to be swayed by deceptive marketing, which is the left side of this slide. Okay. Deceptive marketing utilizes these 7 things to make you feel like you have scarcity as a consumer, not as a business owner. Okay. So I can't go through these in depth today. It was in another training, but I'll go lightly over it. First is bread and circus. I think that's a really important one. Bread and circus was coined from the Roman Empire. Still used today because it works. And it's where Rome, you know why they built the Colosseum? Not so that we could all go, ooh, when we go and visit Rome, okay? They built the Colosseum to control the people because they figured if they could just entertain them, they would not notice when the government was up to no good, okay? So bread and circus is a strategy that marketers use, and politicians use, frankly. And if you don't think politics is marketing, I don't know what you think, because it's marketing, okay? Everything is marketing, right? So watch when you're getting so entertained that you're not noticing what's behind. And don't get me wrong, I want to be entertained, like Gladiator. Are you not entertained? You know, like when Russell Crowe comes out. I like entertainment. And notice when you're falling into the entertainment and not the context. All right. It's like the oldest trick in the book. I'm just letting you know. There's this lady on Facebook. She goes live and she gets like thousands of comments and likes. She's from Canada. And I saw her today on, and I was like, man, this is bread and circus. And I see some of my clients in her feed. I'm just not going to say anything because I just want you to be looking for bread and circus. Because I'm like, this is a cult right here. Because consumers think like, I want you to have the mindset to get anything you want. Yes, we need to have the mindset to get anything we want. We have to do things too, right? So if I tell you that if you just think like Jen Kem, you will have what Jen Kem has, that's not true. But bread and circus looks like if you do what how I am, and like, you'll get it. That's a cult. And you're only making that person rich, not yourself. Which is fine for her, but not fine for you. Okay? Claims, not receipts. So what I mean by that is they claim this works, but they have no receipts to show for it. Right? Window shade is when they shame you into not buying. Like, they close the window when nothing else is available. And I just want to be clear, authentic scarcity is a real thing. You do have to give people deadlines. You do, but be honest about those deadlines. That's all I'm saying. Don't be like, oh, you get this course, if you join by this date, and then you can't get the course anymore. Well, if that's true, don't give the logins to the course. That's integrity, right? But if you have a funnel running and anybody can buy that course, that's not an integrity. So window shade is that. Corner paint means like I'm putting you in a corner and there's no way out of the corner except for what I have. There's no way out. And even I will say, although I will say with confidence that I believe that we are the best on these internet streets, because the best hire us, and they don't want you to know that, because then you'll buy from them, because they're willing to do stuff we are not willing to do, right? And I will never say that we're the truth, the word, and the light, or whatever, right? But I do believe that we have the receipts to show it. Symbolic authority is when you get, especially in the media, right? And by the way, I love earned media and traditional media. I think that earned media and traditional media is the easiest free traffic you can get, okay? And at the same time, as a consumer, remember, don't just look at somebody who's getting all this media and say, oh, they're the one. Think more, and you should be the same. And then finally, perceived allyship means, this is what I call the affiliate gangbang. I know that's kind of awful to say. I said it on a podcast, and the host couldn't believe I said, it's true. People are being assaulted. It's not cool. So it's like this idea of like, we're all friends. And like, if you create a course, if you create a membership, if you learn how to do Facebook ads, if you like, now you have this hub and spoke allyship that looks like you're all friends, but what you really are is you share the list and you let people think that they need you. And if you don't have all those 5, then you're not in the clique, right? So don't fall for that kind of clickbait, is my point. On the other side of it is ethical messaging. And I believe that, especially going into 2023, by the way, the stuff on the left is always going to be here. I'm not on a mission to eradicate that, because it's not possible. I just want you to hear that. It is not possible to eradicate what's on the left. But what is possible is to shine brightly on the right, right? Knowing your values, speaking through your archetype, telling your stories and bridging it to your offer, helping people understand that how you help them get a result through your unique solution, giving them an offer that they absolutely matches their desires, and then also solving the problem they have, which is the definition of having a rich niche. And then ultimately, it's all about you. Like, how are you showing up? How are you being? Do you believe and trust yourself that you offer something that people need? Okay. So guess what? That was all context. Now I'm going to tell you the actual top 10 predictions, and I'm going to run fast through these. So number 1, there are 3 types of brands: offer, personal, and company. And in that order is what's important to build. So what I mean by that is, like, for example, CEO Circle is one of our programs, right? And that's our offer brand. And so our job is to be able to show people the value of that offer brand called CEO Circle, right? Personal brand is me, Jen Kim, CEO of Master Brand Institute, Sarah Paikai, COO of Master Brand Institute. We both support the offer, which is CEO Circle. Okay. And then the company is Master Brand Institute. Some of you have like, your brand is not the registered name in the state that you live in. Okay. Your brand is not the URLs you own. Your brand is what's showing value. A brand is perceived value on the part of a consumer. So when you're prioritizing 2023, how are you making your offer brand valuable? That's your number one question. And does your personal brand support it? And if you're like, I don't want my personal brand to support it, I get it. You don't have to have your personal brand be as powerful as your offer brand, but you do need to, people like to know the person behind the person. Unfortunately, with social media, it's become this me generation, and it's not going to stop. Like, think about it, guys. What is affecting the stock market besides the recession right now? I'm going to give you a hint. He has a name that's with 4 letters. Okay. His name's Elon. And Elon Musk is a personal brand. He's not the offer. He's not the company, but he's like moving the markets because we put these CEO brands, these personal brands on pedestals. But that's how much power it has. So we shouldn't be mad at it. We should understand it. Because, and I'm not saying any of us want to be like Elon. And I'm not just talking in values. I'm talking about, like, most of us here don't want to build the next Tesla or buy Twitter, right? But the lesson you can learn from that is that if you think about the people you follow on social media, have you bought something from them? Not just because of what they taught you, but because you were enraptured with the bread and circus. Okay. Prediction 2. These are the industries that will flourish during the recession. These are recession resistant. So travel, therapy, luxury, death, taxes, birth, weddings, and divorce. Why? Because those all are beginnings, right? Beginnings and endings sell. Weight loss, business foundations, psychology, personal growth, and finance. So, and I want to point to luxury, premium products do not hurt in recessions, they increase in value. But you have to decide that's what you are and provide value that equals the premium you're putting on it. Okay. Prediction number 3 is YouTube and LinkedIn, YouTube and LinkedIn, YouTube and LinkedIn. Right now, I can't even, in the beginning of this training, I would have told you guys, hey, share some of the highlights from this on Instagram, but I can't because Instagram won't let me post because I'm in Instagram jail for no reason. If you look at my account status, it says I'm in good standing. I literally have a screenshot that says, you're in good standing. Your account is in good standing. I am blue check certified. I have a verified account, which is very hard to get on Instagram. Okay. But I got hacked like last month, and they're keeping me in jail, even though I've changed my passwords and everything. I don't even know if I'm ever going to get access back. So if you go to my Instagram right now, you can see it. But here's the point. Meta is a hot mess, period. Meta is a hot mess, period. Okay. And I don't trust their platforms as much as I trust YouTube and LinkedIn. But not just because I trust them, because LinkedIn is where people who have money are. People who are professionals have jobs, or they're entrepreneurs. So they have money. And you might think, oh, like, it's boring over there. I don't know about you, but boring money is good money to me. Like, I don't care if my money comes from Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. I'm happy to receive it where it's supposed to be. And LinkedIn also positions you as a more of an expert. If you're an expert, if you're a specialist, if you're a coach, consultant, advisor, you'll actually be seen more seriously if you're on LinkedIn. And then YouTube, what's great about YouTube is it has built-in SEO and you can run ads. So I have a YouTube channel. We took a long time to get it going, but now I'm having fun with it. And we know that it's a slow roll, but we can start running ads if we want to. You can go live on YouTube now. And YouTube is owned by Google. So it's called the no poke or no, it's like the no poke social media, meaning when people search for you, your YouTube channel will come on. When you're doing Facebook ads, you are interrupting them. And interruption advertising is not as effective as native search advertising. Now you might go, but don't you do Facebook ads? Of course I do, because I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying understand the mix of where you're spending your money on traffic. Traffic is marketing, right? How are you bringing people in? How do people get to know, trust, and believe that you can help them? It's through traffic. So I run Facebook ads. We spend quite a bit, but I will say that it's more for, I'm using Facebook ads for what it's really for, which is to create a brand. Facebook ads help you like establish that you're a player, but it doesn't help you necessarily sell things. Okay. The war for talent, we talked about that we are, we're all fighting for the best of the worst. And the good news about the layoffs is that there's more available. The bad news is that half of those people are going to want to become entrepreneurs and it's going to flood the market. Amy Porterfield who was our client. She is writing a book called The 2-Week Notice. I don't know when it's coming out, but she's specifically addressing the people who lose their jobs. And then she could teach them how to be course creators, right? So because talent, the hardest part of your business is growing a team. I promise you that. It's not marketing. It's growing a team. And it doesn't mean you have to grow this huge team, but even working with one other person to help you get stuff done is hard. And so focusing on how you can be a better leader is the point of this prediction. How can you be a better communicator? Because talent is scarce. It really is. And therefore, how can you position yourself to be a place where people want to work with you? Next is wellness is the new success metric. Hallelujah, right? And it's not just the new success metric or a success metric for entrepreneurs and lifestyle people. In the corporate world, they are looking for wellness, okay? And so if you're a health coach or a nutritionist or somewhere in the health realm, there is so much money out there in the corporate space for you. They are buying woo stuff now. They are buying all kinds of things because they realize that with the current climate that we're in, to keep good talent, they need to offer wellness and they need to show a commitment to wellness. Okay. Prediction 6 is real life versus real life. So meaning, especially after the pandemic, people want to be with people. People want to interact with real people. They want to know that you're a real human being. So even if you're not interested in, growing a huge personal brand, which is totally okay by me, there's so much money in your backyard, so much money. And if you got out and you were in the same places that your audience hung out, that's one of the easiest ways to get traffic, is just simply being in the same room with people who could be your clients. Okay. 1 second. I just need to blow my nose because 1 second.
Loving the reflections that are happening here in the chat. Oh, y'all have seen the YouTube videos. Great Brand Archetype videos. Yes, really good. Layla says, I sell woo and spiritual workshops to tech companies. Nice. Keisha was saying, I've been thinking about going in that direction. Yeah. Oh, Darlene said about Instagram, Jen, that happened to her in June of 2020. She never got her account back. My heart, dude, as a team, we have been so stressed about this Instagram situation.
It's annoying when you work so long on putting
I
out good
know.
content.
Ugh.
Anyway, all right. Next thing is this one's really big for marketing. So micro offers as lead magnets. On our campus, we call lead magnets L1s. That's just our own language. But a lead magnet is a way, it's like an appetizer, right? It's a way for your audience to try it on or try you on, right? I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. You're in a micro offer right now. The Sustainable Scale Workshop is a micro offer, right? It's a way for you to learn something, get a lot of value, but you paid to be here, right? And when people pay to be in something, there's two types of people that come. There's one who are like, I want to learn something. I want to apply this stuff. And then there's the second who's like, I'm just going to buy all the small offers. And the cool thing is about the small offers is that you still make revenue, right? But people who pay for things up front, statistically anyway, are more likely to buy your thing, at least in the long run. They may not buy it immediately, but in the long run. Prediction 8 is that the gig, the freelance, and the work from home business growth will be exponential. It's already obviously like blown up, but it's also like in rebellion right now, because when CEOs are saying, you better come back to work in the office or everyone's fired. Again, Elon, smart move, Elon, right? When like half of Twitter like quit last Friday because he gave them an ultimatum. It was like, that's just making this even more, because back to that's in the media, and that makes everyone mad, people like us. So we're like, yeah, but here's the good news. In 2023, I want you to get out of your ego space if you are like building something for scale. Remember, this is a sustainable scale workshop, right? And you might be like, I want to scale my course. Great, cool. But you know what? There's so much gig and freelance work you could pick up. And you might go, that doesn't sound like something I can scale. No, it isn't something you can scale, but it's cash flow. And cash injection matters during recessionary periods. People will buy more one-on-one and gig work than they will buy group stuff, generally speaking, unless they feel in the group stuff they're getting one-on-one attention. Like, and that's why, frankly, we've been ahead of this for 3 years, guys. That's why all of our programs, you get us with the curriculum. And it's not just like, here's like learn something big and then you do something. We actually work with you. So if you have a course, then you better think about how you're going to give people more attention for them to buy it, because that's just what's necessary right now. This prediction is going to change in a couple of years, but for now, this is what's really happening. Okay, number 9 is the certainty economy. We talked about that the word certain is a big deal. They will be looking for people who can address their basic needs or their outlandish desires. Their basic needs or their outlandish desires. So just being okay is not going to get you ahead. Just being like even safe is not going to get you ahead. You have to show them that you can either improve their basic needs or help them achieve their outlandish desires, okay? And finally, how many of you are more informed, skeptical consumers as a result of how the world's gone? Guess what? Your audience too. And because of that, they are looking for people who are authentic, unique messengers. They're not looking to be bamboozled anymore by the quick fix. They want the quick fix, please don't get me wrong, but can you show that you can give them a quicker fix by working with you and standing your ground? I believe you can. All right, so one thing I want to say about these predictions is you're not supposed to implement or think about all of them. one or two of them could be small or tiny hinges for you that could change your 2023. So what I'm looking for you to think about is, what is the one or two of them that really, like, you feel like you're going to take it and you're going to move on it? And I'd love to hear from all of you. I don't know why I can't read my chat. It's so annoying.
Emily says micro offers as lead magnets. Stacy says real life versus real life. Yes. It's one of my favorite ones. Emily says also the invitation to focus more on YouTube and LinkedIn. Charmaine says YouTube and micro as leads. Darlene says I've made huge progress with LinkedIn this year, so continuing with that and starting more micro offers. Catherine says number 6, real life, and number 7, micro offers as lead magnets. Courtney says I've been wanting to do more speaking. This gives me motivation. Erica says belief and trust equals certainty. Michaela says wellness is a new success metric. Heidi says micro offers. Chelsea also micro offers and LinkedIn/YouTube. Brenda micro offers and LinkedIn. Courtney says I need a better micro offer. And then Nativa asked a question, Jen. She said, what do you feel about TikTok?
Okay, so this is what I believe about anything. And I was, this is my philosophy or my principle about anything. I don't like to go first on something that's new, because fads and trends, like, look what happened with Clubhouse. And I'm not saying that TikTok isn't here to stay. I think it is. I'm going to just say that. I'm not like some old lady from the 1900s saying, TikTok's never going to work. Okay, I'm not saying that. I think that it's the right thing that Clubhouse couldn't do. I knew Clubhouse wasn't going to last, because they put no restrictions on how long you could talk. And then you get those people who just talk and talk and talk, and then you kind of interrupt them. It's just, right? So what I like to do is I like to watch and see, and I like to focus on what I'm really good at this season. And then one of the goals that we'll put on our strategic plan is, let's say, and it won't be for TikTok because I'm not interested, okay? But if it were like YouTube, for example, I put on my parallel goals, like, this YouTube thing is not going to make me money this year, but I'm committed. And it is now, but this was like 3 years ago. And I said, but we need to observe it, look at the data, and know the resources we need to do it well, right? So with TikTok, I think, here's the thing. If you are a creator and a digital creator, I think it's a fabulous platform for you. Like, honestly, I think it's cool. It's super cool. But for me, I'm not gonna do it. Now, on the flip side of it is, like, I think that if you're in the expert space, TikTok is a real, like, it's kind of like a blue ocean still, which is good, right? You need to look for those blue ocean opportunities, like, where nobody else is. And I will say that, like, you still have an opportunity to carve out a niche there. And but it also requires you to be a digital creator. I'm not a digital creator. I don't want to be a digital creator. I create digital content, but I don't want to be, that's not a title I want to own, if that makes sense. So for me, I'm not going to be over there, but for you, if that's something easy, do it. And what I'll also say is, like, it only works if you're driving them to your offer. Who cares? Any platform you're on, I don't care what platform it is. Don't just be there for the vanity metrics. Like, that's not going to make you money. If you're going to teach on TikTok or Instagram or wherever, make sure that you're leading them to a proper L1, to a lead magnet, to another way that you can capture your name. Because on TikTok and on Instagram and all, you don't own that data. They do, right? You need them to come in and be able to get their email address and be able to capture that data. So as long as that strategy is in place, then sure, go for it.